have an accent? I didn't know.
So pleased to have them with us, ladies and gentlemen, Sandler and Young.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Sandler and Ralph Young.
Just a traveling along, sing a song, side by side.
Yeah, I'll tell you something, Sandler and Young.
When love comes in and takes you for a spin. Ooh, la, la,
The Tony Sandler Podcast, the story of the amazing career from the man himself.
It was a very good year.
And now, Tony Sandler.
Estoy muriendo de...
Please welcome Mr. Tony Sandler.
How do you feel about swinging down memory lane one more time?
Le grand chevalier du cœur de Paris se rappelait plus du goût des prairies. Il faisait la guerre avec ses amis, dedans la fumée, dedans les métros, dessus les pavés, dedans les bistrots. Il ne savait pas qu'il en était sourd.
Because of the Sandler and Young Act and the bilingual approach to it, where Ralph, at times folks sang an English ditty and I sang a French one in quadlibet form, that is two different melodies at the same time that fit.
Oh, the apple trees blossoms in the
On retourne
where we
And we did that, of course, in
So
our
they
act.
could, so the Canadians could understand you, regardless of
Well,
which
yeah,
language
so,
you
but
spoke.
the next day in the paper, one brilliant guy wrote an article and didn't like the fact that I was bastardizing the French language
no.
and mingling it
no.
with that ugly English. They were a little on, this guy was a little off his rocker.
Well-
But that was negative, yeah, and he went after me pretty good.
Well, the French don't have a lot to say about Montreal French either. So,
Well, the people in Montreal think they speak the best French in the world. They don't.
yeah.
But, you know, French is French. But
he didn't.
he didn't like it, this guy. Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. I think that's very sad.
I was so
So
sad.
I'm sure.
I cried all
I
day.
know.
nectar and wine. Beautiful girls, and some of them mine. But off in my eyes, see a different shine. Oh, the apple trees, blossoms in the
On
breeze, where the hammocks on our backs we lie, looking at the sky,
Ils ne sont pas méchants
while the stars were strung
avec les enfants.
only last July.
Ont le cœur fidèle.
When the world was young. Oh, the apple trees and the hive of bees, where we once got stuck. Summers at Bordeaux, rowing the bateau, where the willow hung, just a dream ago, when the world was young. When a lovely world was young.
You were in at the Tropicoro in San Juan.
San Juan.
That sounds lovely.
Well, yeah. I mean,
There's
Puerto
a
Rico,
photograph in all of your archives. There's a photograph of you and Ralph Young, bronzed, bare-chested.
What?
A good pec picture of you and Ralph Young sitting in the beach at San Juan. Do you remember that?
Lovely beach there, San Juan.
Lovely pecs, I'd say.
There's a couple of stories there that I could that comes to mind. We were at the Tropicoro. At first, Marna, when we were a lounge act, so we go back quite a bit.
Yeah.
Before we actually were headlining in the Plaza in New York, we had been hired like a lounge act in Vegas. Puro was the name of the owner. He had seen us, I think, in Vegas, so he hired us in his lounge
at the
Tropicoro. And we had just finished a 2-week stay there. Lovely. You know, because we had an attentive audience there. It was not like in a casino where we're in the lounge where people peek in and take a look in and see what's happening. Here it was a seated audience.
Yeah.
And that worked very well. So at the end of our 2-week stay, I just was walking through the lobby with my valises, to use a French word, valise, to go to the airport, right? And Ralph was I was flying back to the West Coast, and Ralph was going to go to New York at that time. So I'm on the way out, and Puro, the boss, stops me. He said, "Tony, can't go." I said, "What?" "Yeah, can't go," he said. I said, "What's happening?" That same night, they had set up a fantastic gala dinner with Sammy Davis as the headliner.
Yeah.
He said, "You can't go, Tony. You're going to have to jump in, you and Ralph." "Is Ralph gone?" I said, "No, he's still here." "Oh, luckily." He said, "You're going to have to jump in because Sammy is deadly ill." Sammy was on the golf course and collapsed.
Oh, jeez.
So here we are, and now we're faced with this fact that they didn't tell anybody. That whole big crowd of 800 to 1,000 people, fancy, tuxedo-clad people, just glamorous,
big
fantastic dinner theater. They're all sitting there expecting Sammy, and they didn't tell anybody that Sammy was not going to show
Whoa.
up. So now Ralph and I are standing backstage, and we're ready to tackle this.
The big shoes to fill, yeah.
And so I'm right. Ralph is on the right side of the stage. They hand him a mic. I'm on the left side of the stage. They hand me a mic. And the guy walks on, and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, welcome. We're very sorry to announce that Sammy Davis will not be here tonight. He's very ill. And with apologies..."
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And we walked on stage with apologies. And all those people are looking up at us. "Oh, who are those two guys?" "Whoa, boo, boo, boo." Right? So we walked. On top of that, the guy that handed me the mic on the left-hand side, in his hurry, he kind of ripped it half out of the socket. So my mic, Dave was going... So I threw that mic back at him, walked towards Ralph. Ralph was right in the middle of the stage, starting, "What can we do for an opening number," right? So I joined them, and we performed with one mic for at least 10 minutes.
What can we do for an opening number that hasn't been done before?
Proceeded to get a standing ovation.
Good.
That night.
Good.
Amazing what happened.
Folks in the know say you start off a show with a slow song, while others will say that the right thing today is a let's get on with a show song.
And Pure came back. I said, "Hey, I have no choice. I have to hire you back headlining." I said, "Sure." Sure. That was a Tropicoro.
Forgive us, Mr. Gershwin, Mr. Porter, Mr. Berlin, if we don't sing your opening song.
Oh, that was it. That was a great win.
So when we came back headlining, here is what happened there. You want to hear another story?
Yeah, yeah.
That was at the time that Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, was going to fight a Belgian.
Oh.
A Belgian champion by the name of Jean-Pierre Koopman.
Did you
I don't
know
know
him?
if you remember that, but that's history. But Koopman was born in the Flanders region, not too far from where Mimi, my wife, was born. And he was a very nice fellow, strong, totally uneducated. He was a bricklayer. But he became a boxing champion, at least in that region. So the governor's office figured out. By the way, the ambassador for Belgium was an Irishman. The ambassador in Puerto Rico at the time was an Irishman, and this this guy knew me, and he knew that I was from Flemish descent. So I got a call from his office to see if I could be the intermediary between Jean-Pierre Koopman, who only spoke Flemish, not another language, not zero, and see if I could coordinate. And I said, well, I'm kind of busy here, but maybe my wife can do that. So Mimi did. So Jean-Pierre Koopman was, like I said, a strong boy, but a little stupido, I think. Because all he said, I'm going to kill this guy. I'm just going to whack him. And I said, oh, okay, all right. So now I had met Muhammad Ali before. I knew Muhammad Ali. And so one day before the match, we had lunch. I had lunch with Jean-Pierre and his wife, and Mimi, my wife, and I was sitting there, and I at the time was dressed. I had a white suit on and white shoes, beautiful white shoes.
Yes, yes.
And Jean-Pierre Koopman was fascinated by my shoes.
Well, they're probably lovely Italian. You have a wonderful collection of shoes, by the way.
I do?
Yes, you do.
Okay, all right. But here is Jean-Pierre looking at my shoes. Couldn't take his eyes off my shoes. And he's continuously talking about my shoes. Besides, he's going to kill the other guy in a couple of days. But the shoes. I said, well, Jean-Pierre, do you like those shoes? Boy, those shoes. So I took my shoes off and gave them to him. I did. I walked home in my socks.
Oh, Tony.
But then the match came.
Wait, were they magic shoes?
And they were paranoid, the Koopmans. They thought that the Ali camp was going to poison them. They were totally paranoid.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and they asked for Mimi to cook for them. Yes. So a couple of days later, here's the event, and I knew what was going to happen. So Muhammad Ali just played with him for 2 rounds, and then in the 3rd round, boom, and there went Jean-Pierre, and he woke up a couple of minutes later, not knowing where he was. That's for sure. That was the story.
Wow.
That's good, isn't it?
So the white shoes didn't help him.
I never saw my white shoes again.
Did he give him back?
No, never saw him again.
Did he wear him in the fight?
I don't know. He wore him somewhere in Belgium, laying brick or something. I don't know what he did.
You have I think it was a Paul Anka story.
Paul Anka.
Let's go to.
Where were we?
Go to Honolulu.
That was a
Beach.
GM convention
In Waikiki.
In Waikiki, where we
at the Hilton,
and they had brought in Paul Anka the night before, and then us, and then somebody else after us. So it was kind of a big convention that they had.
Yeah.
The day that we are preparing our show and rehearsing with the orchestra, and everybody's on stage, the woman, the organizer, wanders on stage and incensed. I said, "What happened?" Well, she said, "Can you believe this?" She said, "Yesterday, you see this piano? This wonderful 12-foot Steinway?
Oh.
Gleaming instrument standing there beautifully. The night before, Paul Anka found it interesting to close the lid of the piano and dance on top of it.
Oh, no.
But I did it
should we wrap up with the Monte Carlo Casino in Monaco? I think
Monte Carlo,
that is
as everybody
so
knows, that
glamorous.
it's always glamorous, and it's supposed to be glamorous. That's what they sell down there.
Yeah.
It's glamour and
Well, I think it's known. It kind of has a reputation of being the epitome of casinos.
well, it's like the James Bond stuff.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
glamour, the James Bond. It's always like that.
And the boats in the Mediterranean and the
So for that
beautiful
show,
cars and beautiful women.
oh, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, completely gorgeous, and accomplished dancers as well.
Beautiful dancers. Yeah.
Superb. And I mean, like, you couldn't compare them with anywhere in the world, actually. Even the Vegas, the heydays in Vegas, there was an excellence there beyond. So it was Patrick Wayne, John Wayne's son.
He's John Wayne's son.
Had
yes.
his show there and invited Ralph and I to introduce us. Nice fella, Patrick.
Always seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Always does.
I saw a movie not too late ago where he dies. Actually, he's shot in the movie.
Oh, who, Patrick? Patrick or John?
In the movie, he shot. They shot him off his horse. Yeah,
jeez.
but that was glamour.
Yeah,
There.
yeah.
Do we have that on film?
We have it in the DVD package, the Golden Years. We've included special features with each of the DVDs.
So we have that clip.
We have a clip of you and Ralph performing at the Monte Carlo. Yeah,
With the girls?
And
With the girls?
I kept the girls in.
You kept the
So
girls
I
in there. Okay.
Did so.
That's a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. My audience says
I
thumbs
think
up.
people are going to go straight to the special feature on that one. But we left in quite a bit of footage on that one, so it's something to look forward to.
Is that enough for today?
Kind of burned through the night here, I think, with all this partying
Can
at
I
these,
tell you
at
one
these
story
nightclubs.
maybe before we leave?
Yes.
And that would be, Marna, when Ralph and I performed at Madison Square Garden.
Ooh.
Yeah, that had to be something.
It was the anniversary of the existence of a state of Israel and was being celebrated at Madison Square Garden.
Mhm.
It was sold out. There were approximately 30,000 people there.
Is that was it Golden Meyer? Was she?
And present were some notable people, including Golda Meir. You remember her?
Wow, that
she
had to
was
be
then
something.
head of the state of Israel.
Right.
Now, Val Irving, our manager at the time, was asked by that committee of that event, for Sandler and Young, that was Ralph and me, to sing our now famous rendition of Exodus. We had just recorded Exodus, the song.
Oh, that had
This
to be fabulous.
land
Yeah.
is mine. God gave this land to me. You know, the beautiful.
Oh, it's so stirring, and with
yeah.
your two voices, it had to be wonderful.
Yeah, and we had a fresh recording of it. It had been beautifully orchestrated. Joe Barry did it at the time.
Oh, did he?
So this song was to conclude the evening's festivities there.
That'd be great.
At the Madison Square Garden in front of 30,000 people. So I kind of recall the following turn of events. Towards the end of the song, where we sing, "So take my hand and walk this land with me," you know, and then it goes on towards the end of the song, leading up to the big finale of the song.
Right.
And then, of course, in your head, expecting a thunderous applause, of course.
Right, yeah. It has a big ending to it.
Yeah, the spotlight, when we were, "So take my hand and walk this land," where we were there, way before, 16 bars before the end of the song. All of a sudden, the spotlight directed at Ralph and me on stage shifted
Oh, why?
unexpectedly to the entrance of the garden.
Oh, no.
Yep. And who was walking down the aisle? You would never guess.
Who?
Bobby Kennedy and his entourage.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Oh, no.
And all this happened against heavy protests from Val Irving. He said, can't do that.
That's criminal.
But it was designed to steal our thunder.
Of course, it's upstaging.
And
big
it succeeded. But it was such an incredible letdown for Ralph and me. I still cannot feel it.
Did you finish the song?
We finished the song, but in the dark. We walked off the stage in the dark. And there was zero consideration for what we had just done and the purpose of the event. It was just a political opportunity.
That is so sad.
Can you just imagine that?
Silent is the night, closing in around me. I sit and listen for footsteps on the stair.
Oh, what a way to end it up.
Can we sign off today?
Oh, shoot.
Can we sign off?
I run to the door, but no one's there. Where is tomorrow for someone like me? There's no tomorrow for a memory. I lost a lifetime. What can I do?
To learn more about the Sandler and Young Legacy Collection, head to sandlerandyoung-legacy.com. The Tony Sandler Podcast is a TSLS production, engineered and edited by Digital Engine Media, Minneapolis. Subscribe to the Tony Sandler Podcast through your favorite podcast provider and receive updated episodes right when they're released.
If I touch my cheek, it could almost be you, kissing all my lonely tears away.